Hello friends, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sana. I am going to go ahead and make this really quick as possible. I literally just got at work 2 minutes ago, so I'm going to try not to stumble on my words. But I do, as you all know, I don't like to talk scripted, but then again, I do have some things that I jotted down. That way I can kind of stay on track, not have this video be forever long, not ramble at all, which I can definitely easily do being a Jersey girl. I love connecting with people. Blame me if you want, but it's just me. But I'm going to go ahead and get just into this because I did promise I was going to do a dedicated video of what my plans are going to be come the month of November. So anyone that has been riding with me for longer than a hot minute knows I don't do anything from a challenge perspective, but I do like to switch things up, part of my carnivore way of eating, which excitingly I am going to share with you all come tomorrow. Today is October 31st, Tuesday. So come tomorrow, Wednesday, November 1st, I will be celebrating 10 months on the carnivore way of eating. So it is definitely super exciting, as 2 more months only to go before I hit 1 year. I cannot believe it. This year definitely went by super, super fast. So let's go ahead and just kind of get right into it. So for the month of November, I decided to do carnivore 75 hard. So this is a plan that was formulated by Nutrition with Judy. So it is Judy Cho. I'm going to link all of her information because I'm only going to get a little bit kind of into the information of what I'm going to be doing for the month of November, because I want all of you to go to the links that I'm going to list in the description, because she is the one that designed this. She did design this based off on the 75 hard challenge that is out there. I definitely want you all to watch her video. I am not a healthcare professional, so hearing it from who created this commitment is what I'm going to call it. I don't like to do anything from a challenge perspective, because for me, I really like to focus on a lot of the healing and the mindset, which this definitely incorporates. So you will understand why I'm wanting to do it and why I'm wanting to incorporate it part of my carnivore journey. So kind of getting into this, and why I'm suggesting also for you to visit her links is because she does have resources that you can sign up for. So this is simply a checklist that goes through the entire 75 days and kind of gives you a little bit of some information here to keep you on plan of what this consists of for the 75 days. And this is just kind of like another little check marks you can do from daily to make sure that you've basically completed what each of the days is requiring. So I like to print things out. I think that she did a beautiful job on these resources and these templates, so I'm going to definitely utilize them. So I definitely signed up to be able to get these. These were of no charge, but you did have to sign up to get these emails. So as I said, definitely check out those links if you are interested to get these resources as well, to be able to kind of keep you on track if you are ever thinking of doing carnivore 75 hard as well. So looking kind of at this, so the major reason for why I start anything, or for why I change things up with my carnivore way of eating, is because I like to take into perspective my why. I was so happy when I listened to her video. That is something she mentions as well, to not just do the 75 hard just because you're wanting to do it or just because you're wanting to do it for weight loss. You definitely want to be doing this for a reason of your why. Have your why be a good reason other than just wanting to lose the weight. Because I will definitely tell you all, because as I said, I will be hitting 10 months carnivore come tomorrow. The scale is not the tell all be all. it will discourage you if you allow it to. You definitely have to focus on the healing. You definitely have to focus on the non-scale victories. So most definitely have a why other than the weight loss, because the weight loss is not always going to show. You definitely do not want to get discouraged when it comes to the carnivore way of eating, and the scale will let you get discouraged if you allow it to. It does not mean that you're not being successful in carnivore. It's just all of our bodies are different, and some of us require more healing than others. And a lot of times the healing has to take place before the body is going to allow the scale or any sort of weight loss, fat loss to take into effect. So definitely watch her video because she does go a little bit more in depth, as I mentioned. So my why is simply to keep consistent on carnivore over the holidays. So as I mentioned, January 1st of this new year, 2024, I'm going to be hitting 1 year on the carnivore way of eating after doing 4 years of keto. My why is because I want to remain consistent. As some of you know that have watched my previous vlogs, I am someone that suffered from clinical depression and anxiety. There was a point in time that I was also suicidal. I had a lot of aches and pains in my body that caused me limited mobility. I also had IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, that kept me like a prisoner in my own house. I hardly was able to go out anywhere because a lot of times I would get nervous and I would have fear that there would not be a restroom readily available, or if there was a restroom available, I would face the dilemma that us women do, is sometimes there is a long wait at our restroom to be able to have to wait in line for your turn to use the toilet. I did not want to run into those situations, so I just kept at home in the comfort of knowing that once I had those feelings, I was having my own bathroom readily available to be used. So I definitely do not want to go back to that way of living. It was miserable. I don't have anyone that I would consider my worst enemy, but as people say, it is something I would not wish upon my worst enemy or anyone, period. I was miserable. I was definitely not living my best life. So having the feeling of what it is to live your best life, being pain-free, having the healing of all that I have just mentioned these past 10 months, I do not want to reverse any of that. I want to hold on to it for as long as I can to feeling my very best. I truly feel right now that I am living my best life, and I definitely feel like I have definitely a new found perspective on what it is to live a full and happy life, if you will. So that is my main why, is to keep consistent on carnivore over the holidays, as this will be my first major holidays coming up with this carnivore way of eating. So in the States, we do have Thanksgiving that comes up in November. Early on in December, I do have my birthday, as well as there's going to be Christmas Eve as well as Christmas Day. So there is a lot of big celebrations coming up. I am not anyone that has had any slip-ups or has come off a plan these past 10 months going carnivore. It was nothing about perfection. As you all can see, my channel name is mrs.perfectly.imperfect.keto. I do not remain on plan because I want to be perfect. No way, no how. I do not want to ever be sick again. If it means having minimal pleasure, a just minute portion of time to savor foods that are going to cause me such detrimental harm, such detrimental pain to my body, it is not worth it to me. There is no food that is basically considered not part of the proper human diet that you could put before me and tempt me with. My mentality is just so strong right now that no foods that would be considered harmful to me would tempt me to keep me to come off of plan. That is just not where my mentality is at right now. So as I said, it's not about being perfect. It is about keeping myself not sick. I do not want to go back to where my life was before. Now that I got a taste of how wonderful life could be, and to be able to have the freedom like I have right now. We just spent a whole weekend away to celebrate our oldest son's 15th birthday. I had a complete blast. He also, being 15 years old, he got emotional because to be able to have his mother be able to not only celebrate one of his milestone birthdays, but to be able to go away for the weekend and for me to be present in the moment. And it's something that you can't even express into words. So that is why I like to keep consistent. So I truly feel like Carnivore 75 Hard is something that is just really great to keep someone on plan and to basically keep someone on track because of the way it was designed. So that is the main reason why I wanted to go through with this upcoming holidays coming up. She does go through the game plan as far as when it comes to the nutrition aspect of it. So it is keeping on a carnivore way of eating that goes into meat. She does mention something pertaining to eggs, so definitely watch her video because she does advocate for the yolks being incorporated and limitation on the egg white. Dairy, she does mention the goat dairy being more beneficial. Salt, water, she did cover as far as when it came to water that there are mentionings of the recommended water intake is basically half of your current body weight. You basically would figure what half your body weight is, and whatever that number is, that is how much water you need to drink in terms of ounces. So she does mention that recommendation that is out there, but also she leaves it to everybody of what their preferred consumption is going to be when it comes to the water. Definitely watch her video because she does make a mention of when it comes to eating your meal and incorporating fluids as you are eating. I am going to adhere to the no snacking. I do not snack with my carnivore way of eating. Either I've done 1 meal a day, which is OMAD. I've done 2 MAD when it came to my alternate day fasting that I have just completed this month with the incorporation of carnivore way of eating. I was simply just breaking my fast with the eggs you all were seeing, and I was going in with a brunch and a dinner, which was basically what I was doing. So that was more so on the 2 MAD end. So still yet no snacking. I am going to do 2 MAD. So that is the current plan right now, is to go in with a brunch, to go in with a dinner. Definitely going to adhere to no foods with any added sugars. There is not going to be any calorie restriction, so no tracking at all. And also there's not going to be any weigh-ins throughout these 75 days. So I am going to weigh in come tomorrow morning, which will be November 1st. I weigh in at the beginning of this commitment, and I'll weigh in completely at the end of the 75 days. I'm most definitely going to take measurements because, as I mentioned, the scale is not the tell-all be-all, so I will use a tape measure and take those measurements. Part of the 2 MAD that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to adhere to, she suggests going in with fasting of 16 hours of fasting and an eating window of 8 hours. So my plan of 2 MAD, so basically let's kind of get a little bit into that. So for someone that's not familiar with a fasting and then an eating window, so I'll be fasting for 16 hours. So figure the day that you're having your dinner or your last meal, from when you take that last bite of food, that is when your fasting window will start. Basically up until that last bite, and then once I hit 16 hours, that is when your eating window opens up. It does not mean you are going to eat that entire 8 hours of that eating window. That just means that is the time frame you have to have your committed meals. Whether you decided to have OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, your 2MAD, which is 2 meals a day, or whether you chose to have 3 meals. Because as I said, we are not going to do any snacking, so we are not going to figure that we're eating that entire 8 hours. That just means you are going to start at an 8 hour mark. You are going to end at that entire 8 hours. You are not going to eat the entire time. If anyone needs a little bit more of an explanation after hearing my explanation, watching Nutrition with Judy's video that I'm going to share below, drop me a comment and I'll try to get a little bit more into it to just kind of help and guide you with that 16 to 8 or any type of fasting window in comparison to the eating window. So the next part of the challenge is going to be movement. So when it comes to this commitment, I was really excited when it came to the movement, because part of the carnivore way of eating with the incorporation of alternate day fasting, I have not been able to be consistent with my treadmill time in the morning. It got to be very difficult incorporating such an extended fast, going anywhere from 36 plus hours. Sometimes I was going up to 42 to 44 hours of fasting. So it got really difficult to keep consistent with the treadmill morning time that I was doing before work, especially on my fasting day. So I was really excited to see that this commitment was simply incorporating movement, and movement that is harder than what you normally do now. So I am currently not doing anything now. So anything that I do going forward for the 75 days is definitely going to be harder than what I normally do. So part of the movement, it's going to be 30 minutes total of movement. 15 minutes of that has to be outdoors, which I can definitely do. So what my plan is going to be, in the morning, I'm going to definitely commit to my treadmill time again. And then in the afternoon, it works out really well because when I get off of work, my husband literally is just walking in the door from him coming home from work. So during that time, we are going to visit a local park. We have a park that is such a quick drive-in distance from our house. So we are going to go and have a visit at that local park each and every afternoon to be able to accomplish that 15 minutes of outdoor time. We are definitely going to surpass it because our youngest, he is almost 7 years old. So having someone so young, he definitely is going to spend a lot more than that 15 minutes outdoors. So I will definitely be getting surpassing of what that 30 minutes of total movement is going to be. So I am definitely excited and I'm here for it. She does cover mindset. So the mindset, just fairly quickly, is going to be simply writing 3 things that we're grateful for each and every day. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to be able to share it with you all. And also, I did want to share a little bit. So I did go through and I turned off some notifications when it came to social media. I want to keep myself very positive throughout these next 75 days. So when it came to social media, anything that might have any negative news or anyone that is consistently having a negative mindset, I have turned off those notifications because I want to make sure I am doing the very best for myself, because we have to always remember about ourselves, our commitment to ourselves. I am someone that I can very easily be very invested when it comes to me being very empathetic and being sympathetic for what others are going through. I need to disconnect myself from that. I need to make sure that I am taking care of myself before I try to take care of anyone else. So for me, it was really important, and I really brainstormed and gave it a lot of thought. But just kind of listening to Nutrition with Judy's video, it really confirmed it and put it into a really proper perspective for me, that it is really important for me to remember about my mental health that is still in the progression of healing. Even though throughout the clinical depression, anxiety, and as many of you know that I've shared that I was suicidal at one point in time. I did get professional help, but still yet I still consider myself a work in progress every single day. I never want to lead on to anyone that every single day is not a work in progress. Every day is definitely a work in progress. And I feel it is important for anyone and everyone to still look at themselves as a work in progress. We should always see that there is always room for improvement. So I don't mind wholeheartedly expressing and sharing that with everybody. But I definitely wanted to be able to express that. Because for me, it's not about advocating for any sort of perfection, but for me, I definitely want to advocate consistency when it comes to healing. That's truly really important to me. So that is mainly why I chose this commitment starting November 1st. So as I mentioned, anyone that has been with me for longer than a hot minute, it is not going to be anything of a weight loss challenge. There is a rule part of this commitment. She does mention that anyone that wants to join in, she does not want to see anyone part of social media consistently posting pictures or giving out results, because we all are going to heal at a different pace and we don't want to discourage anyone. So if we are having quicker results than anyone else within the community, we do not want anyone to get discouraged, to think as if they are doing something wrong, because we all are going to have just different results. All of our bodies are different. We were all definitely doing different things to our bodies prior to starting carnivore. For example, I was 4 years keto. So yes, my body was going to heal very different in comparison to somebody coming straight from the standard American diet and so forth. So I will be taking for myself before and after pictures as well as measurements. So I definitely do not mind sharing them after this challenge, or this commitment as I like to personally call it, because as you all know, I don't like to do things from a challenge perspective. But I will be taking the before and after pictures as well as measurements, and I will share them with you all at the end of the 75 days. So I can definitely do that. It's just throughout, I will not be sharing that. But definitely, I am brainstorming how I'm going to consistently share with you all how this is going. And not to really give anything too much as far as anything. I don't have to share anything when it comes to the scale, because I'm not going to be weighing in consistently throughout the 75 days. It's just before and after, as well as the measurements. But I can definitely share with you all how it's going. I can definitely share when it comes to going through like the meals that I ate. I can definitely incorporate those. I definitely want to get back into doing the grocery hauls, because those are super fun. I love watching grocery hauls myself. And it's even more fun to actually make a video of a grocery haul. So I find that super fun as well. So I can definitely keep consistent with that type of content. But when it comes to this commitment of the Carnivore 75 Hard, definitely let me know what will interest you as far as the content I will be sharing with you all. I would definitely appreciate that feedback. So definitely let me know and drop that below. And if you have any questions, definitely drop that below as well. But as I said, you will find all the information in the description for how to locate Nutrition with Judy, her content, and as well as that video that is going to be very informative. And she does also have the links in that video as well, part of her description, to be able to get the resources as far as being able to have this checklist, and to be able to basically have your daily checklist as you're going through the Carnivore 75 Hard. All right, my friends, well, I'm going to make this really short as I promised you all, because I am definitely ready to get to some family time. But as always, I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you all for your continued beautiful support. It is certainly wholeheartedly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, take care, my friends.